All right, it's John Wood here, the founder of Rage Heart, and in today's video I want to talk about how to regulate a dysregulated nervous system. Now, I guess the first question is, what even is a dysregulated nervous system? And the easiest way to think about it is just to think about symptoms, which, you could list out anxiety, depression, insomnia, and a mind, like a racing mind, overthinking mind, bad boundaries, right? You don't stand up for yourself, procrastination, can't focus, brain fog, addictions. All these things are not guarantees of dysregulation in the nervous system, but they're signs and symptoms of that could very well be caused by dysregulation. And the simplest way to think about this, if we think about the nervous system and how it responds to danger and threats and safety and all of that, we have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fawn being people pleasing. So the idea is we're all just chilling, we're all very safe. A threat appears, whether it's a dog or a scary person or a tidal wave or a tsunami or whatever. And first we go into flight, right? We try and run away from it. If that doesn't work because we're trapped, right? The next thing we go to is fight. We try and fight the threat off. We attack it. If that doesn't work, well, really at some point in there, I don't know if these are like it's a linear based system, but if another response in there can be people pleasing, right? So this happens with our parents when we feel something, we're angry, but we know they don't like it. So we pretend that everything is fine. It's sort of like a fawn response. We fawn over them. We make ourselves presentable, and yeah. And if none of those responses work, if we try and be well behaved but our parents still are violent, right? Or if the dog's still there or whatever, if those responses don't work to get us back to safety, then we freeze, we shut down, right? So those are the responses. Where dysregulation comes in is, these responses are healthy and good. The problem is when we get stuck, right? So we're meant to feel afraid in certain situations, and then we're meant to come down, right? So if there's a dog that's about to bite us, we're meant to be afraid or angry in those situations. That's a very, very good thing to help us. It keeps us safe. The problem is when the dog goes away and we're back in our home that night and we can't stop thinking about it. And then instead of relaxing, we just feel that same fear again and again and again and again. Well, what does that sound like? Anxiety, right? Right, we're still feeling unsafe, as if we're still in danger, even though the threat isn't even there anymore. We've gotten stuck in survival mode, right? Or you think about freeze, right? If fighting, fleeing, fawning, if those responses don't work, we freeze, we shut down, we can't feel anything, we go numb, right? We're overwhelmed, we collapse physically. It can be like physically, it can be we pass out, we go into shock. There's different ways of saying it. And again, it's a very beautiful thing. It's an amazing, incredible response, part of the human system. The problem is when we get stuck there. And in some ways you could think about it like it's like we're playing dead, right? All of our energy goes to our vital functions. It's not really available for, say, digestion, being happy and healthy. In that moment, all we care about is to survive. And that numbness, that shutdown, that collapse, we don't want to feel anything in those moments. It's too painful. Again, it's a useful thing in extreme situations. The problem is when we get stuck there. Because if you get stuck there, what does that look like? Depression, right? Feeling numb, not feeling anything, not feeling alive, just feeling bored and apathetic and listless, purposeless. So this is dysregulation, right? The dysregulation, fear is not dysregulation. It's when we get stuck in these different states. So to return to the topic of the video, how to regulate a dysregulated nervous system, we have to, if you think about what the problem is that we're stuck in a sense of danger. We're stuck in a sense of threat. That's the root issue, right? We still think that the scary dog is here, or that the scary parent is here, or whatever the trauma was. The body, at least, we may consciously know this is not true, but the body thinks it's still happening. So the body won't relax because it's like stuck in the past. So the question is, if that's the root problem, right? Feeling a sense of danger, a perpetual sense of danger, like we're being chased by a bear all the freaking time, right? And that's what's keeping us stuck in this sense of survival and this sense of danger. That's the dysregulation, right? We're not going up and down as needed. We went up like 25 years ago, and now we've been stuck there for the last 25 years, and that's why our life is a mess. So how do we get out of that? That is how we regulate a dysregulated nervous system. And there's all kinds of tools for this. You can do breath work and meditate and journal and see a therapist and all of that. And all those things can help. I think a lot of things that people do to try and regulate their nervous system are band-aids, for want of a better word. Band-aids, because they're not really dealing with the root issue. They've just learned to manage the symptoms that they're dealing with. The real problem is a sense of danger. If we had to break it down to its most simple into its most simple terms. Getting all twisted up here speaking. If you had to break it down into its most simple terms, we would just say that there is like a sense of danger loaded into the system. How do we fix that? How do we get the system to know that it's safe? Because if it knows that it's safe, it can relax. And this is where somatic work comes in, or nervous system work comes in. And the first step is simply to start orienting to the safety in your environment, right? The problem is danger. The problem is the nervous system thinks it's still unsafe. How do we fix that? We start looking for the safety. And if we spend our entire lives living in a sense of danger, we don't even know what safety looks like. But this is where it starts. It's not going to be an instant fix. You don't start looking for safety and it's like flicking on a light bulb and then your nervous system is regulated. It's not that simple. But it starts with safety. Learning to orient to the safety in the environment. So looking around right now, if you can, and having a check. Is it safe? Are there any tigers around here? And really looking, are there any snakes? Are there any screaming, scary people? And there might be, depending on where you are. But it all starts here, of learning to see, what does safety look like? Are the doors locked? That's where it starts. And as we start to feel more safe, right, the stored stress that's keeping the system in a sense of survival, in a dysregulated state, is going to start to release. It's going to start to integrate. And this is a process. It's not an overnight thing. It's like I said, it's not like a light switch. You do this once and the next day your nervous system is regulated. I've been doing it for myself for 4 years now, and it's still going. So, but it starts there. Orienting to the safety in the environment. You can build on that by, say, feeling the ground, looking around, noticing the breath. And really what we're doing is creating a bigger container in the body, which then allows, because a lot of what's keeping the system in a dysregulated state, in a sense of danger, is not just that we don't feel safe, but that there's energy, there's fear, and there's anger, there's emotion that's stuck, that's loaded into the system that hasn't been released and processed yet. And because that's all running around the system, the nervous system goes, whoa, there's all this fear here, there's all this anger, there's all this rage, I must not be safe, right? So part of it's establishing safety, cultivating a sense of safety in your nervous system. That's part of it. And then the second part is starting to work through that energy, integrating the energy that's there, which may mean crying or raging or, running really fast on the spot. There's all these different ways to release and process that energy. And like I said, that's a process that takes time. So I'd say those are the two sort of main steps. Learn how to cultivate safety in your life and learn how to release all the different, the stored stress that's keeping the system in that survival. And if there's a third piece, it would just be learning about the nervous system theory, the theory of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and how it all works, and the vagus nerve, and all those different things, all the jargon. Because having that map for what's really happening in your nervous system can actually go a long way to helping establish a sense of safety. Because then we don't need to be afraid of our fear. We don't need to be afraid of our anger. We can start to see, oh, my body, my nervous system is just going through something right now. I don't have to be afraid of this. So in summary, that's three things. Number one, learn how to cultivate a felt sense of safety. It's not about saying I'm safe. It's about looking and giving your nervous system the raw sensory data that it's safe, the colors, the sounds, that it's safe. That's number one. Number two, learn to release the energy, the stored energy in your nervous system. And as that happens, the system's going to go, oh, I guess it actually is kind of safe right now. All right. And then step three, learn about the theory, the science of the nervous system. Okay. If you want to learn more about this, you can go to, well, if you want to learn from me, of course, you can go to Rage Heart. That's like Braveheart, but rageheart.co. And there is some information there if you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole. If you don't want to learn from me, there are other people teaching this. I'm not going to try and tell you that I'm the only one doing this, because I'm not. You can go learn from loads of different people. But I would say if you really want to regulate your dysregulated nervous system, this is how you do it. It's what it's done for me, and it can do the same for you.